Welcome back to Garage Tuning, where today we got parts in. Yeah, these are all the parts for the old Ibex 450. I think that these are like the must-have modifications for this bike. Okay, I have about 1,000 miles on mine. Absolutely love it. I truly been blown away with how much fun 45 horsepower can really be. So today we're going to be installing what I think is the must-have mods on it, as well as going over maybe a couple other things on the bike. But let's go ahead and first get all this stuff unboxed so you can see what we got. Ta-da! We got it all unpackaged. All right, let's go over this real quick. But first, I want to throw this out there. Like I said, this is all made by CFMOTO, which is kind of cool because rather than CFMOTO waiting around for aftermarket companies to come up with stuff for their bikes, they just said, you know what? We'll build everything that everybody needs. But there's one thing that you can't get from CFMOTO that I think is a must-have, and it was actually my first modification on the old bike. That's going to be this right here. This is the Nelson Rig Enduro tail bag. I think it's the Enduro. I don't know. So this one, this is their soft one. This actually comes in 3 sizes. This is the medium one. The small, a little too small. The big is quite very big. And the medium one fits just right. Good old Goldilocks. If we come down here, we get personal. We get real close and personal. You see, the old Ibex 450 actually comes with like a cool little rack from the factory. You got a luggage spot. And this bag fits perfect. You can see it ends right at the seat, and then it ends right at the back. Like, you really couldn't get a bag to fit any better than this. Another cool little feature on this old guy right here is if you take this zipper here and you unzip it around, if you unzip it all the way, it grows like, I don't know, 3 inches, I think. But it really does open up a whole lot of space. You can fit a ton of stuff in here. I don't think you could quite fit a full-size helmet, but it does fit visors like perfectly. The radius of this right here, a visor fits in perfect, which is what I really use it for. You can't have an ADV bike without a little bit of storage on there. I mean, that's like half the fun of these things, is strapping crap to them and seeing what you can get away without using a car. My car is very dirty. I think we should move the Daytona out of the way. Come on, buddy. To the back. I almost forgot to. I actually did one more mod too, and that's just some swing arm spools down here so I can put a stand on it, just making working on it easier. So that way we can use this. If putting your bike on a stand makes you nervous, I'm going to give you a little trick. If your kickstand is down on that side, and if you stand on this side, the old bike, it can't go anywhere because it's going to either fall into me or it's going to fall into the kickstand. You just stay on the passenger side, I guess. I don't know. You stand over here, it's easy. Let's go over everything that we got from, we'll go smallest to biggest. First of all, this is a little like protector thing for the rear brake reservoir. I don't really think it's needed, but it adds a little bit of color and bling to the bike, and they're super cheap, so I went ahead and got it. Next up, we have a little protector for the front caliper. Again, I don't know how needed it is, but it adds some color and a little bit of bling to the bike. Next up, this, and I actually left this one packaged because I want to show you like how nicely, like this is a very, very nice box that they shipped this in. Perfectly cut in foam, and their instructions are colored, and there's pictures with description. They did a great job with this. Anybody could install this stuff. We don't need that anymore. This is simply just a little like bigger foot plate for the kickstand. I live in an area where it rains a lot and it's very sandy, so the stock kickstand foot's kind of small. Even sitting in my grass and my lawn, the bike starts to sink in and keep sinking, so I want a little bit wider footprint on that. I'm really like surprised how thick they made the bottom of this thing. Like, I'm not sure if you can see that, but the actual part that's going to be contacting the ground is very beefy. I think we'll install all this last, but these are the crash cages. We have the lower cage, the upper cage, as well as a big old beefy old skid plate. Let's do that little kickstand first. All right, I am noticing that the hardware that comes with this does have lock washers on it, so hopefully that'll keep it from backing off. I'm gonna throw some Loctite on it anyway because I Loctite everything. Should keep us from sinking down in the grass. Next, we just have the a little cover right here that goes just like that, over top of your brake reservoir. Another bolt to use with this, but it's actually smaller than the one that's in there. I'm guessing the new bolt is actually stainless. It kind of appears that way. So I guess higher quality material, but it is, like I said, smaller. Snug, like I said, don't need to go crazy on this either, but there, a little bit of color, a little bit of bling on the side of the bike. I don't really know that, I mean, the plastic they make these reservoirs out of is pretty durable. I don't know how you would happen to break that on a trail. I mean, I guess maybe if you fell over and a log landed on it, but I think you're going to have bigger issues with like the clutch cable here than that. I don't know, but like I said, it was cheap. It added a little bit of color to it, and I was ordering parts anyway, so we might as well just get that guy. Next up, we have, like I said, little protector. It's going to go just like that over top of the caliper. Again, I don't know how necessary it is, but adds a little bit of bling, and like I said, these are, I think, under $20. Kind of odd, though. They don't give you a torque spec for these two bolts in the instructions, and I was kind of expecting them to. So we're going to go by feel. There is a little bracket that's on this top bolt right here. I don't know how great it's going to come across, but it's holding your ABS line right here. That bracket, according to the picture, is going to go on the outside of this bracket. So don't let me forget that. I'd say those feel like they're probably somewhere close to, I don't know, maybe 30 foot-pounds. They don't feel ridiculously tight, but they're not coming off. Click. All right. Okay, that kind of proved to be a little bit of a pain. I need to charge this light, but you see this little black bracket right here is supposed to go on the outside of this. Mine was not really fitting all that great. I ended up popping this little ABS cable out of the bracket, took the bracket off. It's very, very thin steel. I bent it a little bit by hand, got it on there, and then after I snugged this bolt down, I just kind of bent this and molded this around the old protector thing here. I don't like how this is exposed down here. This is kind of a weird design, because I feel like that is a very good point for something to come along and like snag on this little line down here. Maybe we'll zip tie that up in there. Let me do that real quick. Okay, we're not gonna go too tight, but just enough to kind of hold that. Yeah, now it's not up there quite as exposed. Well, I'm going to say that's the easy stuff done. Now it's time to do all of the actual real protection stuff. And I'm going to take some time and go ahead and read over the instructions here, because I do believe that all of the pieces kind of tie in together. So I'm not sure which one you put on first and kind of tie it in. I know the lower ones connect to the skid plate, and I believe the lower ones also connect to the upper ones. So I don't know if you start here and go down, or if you start bottom and go up, maybe middle, bottom, top. I don't know. I'm gonna read all of that. Very good. But I do want to point out before I forget, kind of looking over the build quality of the cages here, I will say, I mean, the welds look pretty good. They feel very sturdy. They are also steel. Like, it's all magnetic all the way through, even through the powder coat. The powder coat job on it, maybe not the best, but it'll definitely do. It does look pretty thick. Let me read some instructions and I'll be back to you. Doing about 5 seconds of reading. I believe we're going to start by taking off all of the stock lower skid plate. So I'm going to zip all this stuff off real quick. 13 mil it is. This is the old stock skid plate. It's paper thin. If you can, let me see if we get a good straight on. See how thin that is? Like, I can flex this with my hands. This is nothing more than just kind of like a mud guard. So next up, there's these little plastic guards down over here. I gotta zip those guys off quick too. Other side. Okay, I'm gonna start. This is definitely gonna be one of those operations that you're gonna get everything started, but don't tighten anything down right away. I can already tell that. Oh, well, it's on. Sorry about that. I don't think the platform would have appreciated the colorful language that I was using throughout this process. Yeah, let's talk about this. I want to start off by saying I don't regret buying the protection parts, such as the cage and the skid plate. However, I am minorly upset with the fitment of getting it on the bike. For it being produced by the actual manufacturer, CFMOTO, this fit terribly. Now, I want to preference. When I changed the oil on this bike for the first time around, The stock little tin skid plate, I had quite a bit of trouble getting that to go back on. It didn't go on when I was trying to put that back on. I really had to flex some things around, and in the process of putting this on, I had to do the same thing. I am going to go on a limb and say that it's like these little small pieces that go down to protect the motor on the lower part that is kind of where all of this fits together. Like I said, I noticed when I was putting the skid plate on the first time, or like when I changed oil and I was putting the stock plate on, that nothing fit at all. It was very, very struggling. And I ran into that while mounting all of this. I will say, if you're going to do this process, have some patience. I have very little patience. The order to do this in is definitely going to be skid plate, the lower bars, or like the lower engine guards they call them, and then the top. But do not tighten anything until you have everything on and kind of started. Now, I've seen other creators that have done the same thing as this, put their stuff on, and they never made any comments about having poor fitment. Maybe I have a goofy one. Maybe my lower cradle frame portion there is not on correctly or properly. That's a possibility. However, the hardware that comes with it all is this very, very like cheap feeling hardware that it almost looks like it's cast material. It's not nice at all. I had two of them almost strip out on me already while just simply putting them on, tightening them down, backing them off, tightening down, the whole process. So I'm going to advise to you that if you're doing this, the best thing to do would be, like I said, just get everything started. I ended up actually taking the bolts out of the back portion of where that lower cradle there mounts to the main frame. That did help quite a bit. By having that out, I could definitely move the whole thing around a lot easier. But I think the next time that we do an oil change in this bike, it's going to be beneficial to, I'm going to take the whole lower engine cradle off, and we're going to try to kind of put everything back together with some better hardware, even to hopefully make this thing fit better, because you really can't change the oil with the skid plate on. Like the drain plug is exposed. You can get at the drain plug, but the oil filter, I don't know how you would get a tool or your hand in there to even pull that out. And when you take the oil filter off, it's just going to fill the skid plate full of oil. And unless you're going to hose down an entire can of brake clean on it, there's going to be no way to get that out of there. Maybe it's just CFMOTO things. I really don't know. This is my first CFMOTO. I don't want to poo-poo the brand because I have absolutely fallen in love with this bike. I want to show you something that I discovered while just sitting in the garage. Maybe this is a reason to get the lower engine mount. It kind of makes a little highway peg. There's like a good little spot there to rest your foot. If you want to kind of stretch out going down the road, you're in this position, your leg gets a little tired, you can stretch it out, put it up on top of there. I would say the main must-have would actually be this Nelson rig tail bag. That thing has been like a lifesaver. If you're going to buy all this stuff, I will throw it out there and say the instructions do a very good job of showing you what to do. It's not nearly as complicated as I thought it was going to be. It was the fitment. But that's going to do it for today's video, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching. If you got any comments, questions, concerns, throw them down there. I'll try to answer them. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do next to this thing. Maybe actual hand guards, because these are just plastic. These are going to break instantly.